Hi, my name is Charlie Blanco. I'm a 2019 graduate of Norwin High School, and I'm currently studying civil engineering at Penn State University up in State College, PA. So what do you think of when you hear the word STEM, science or engineering, anything of that matter? I think a lot of people are constrained to the idea that a STEM career means you're chained to a desk or a calculator or a research lab. And I'm here today to tell you that that's not always the case. While there are plenty of STEM jobs where you're doing math and calculations and research all day long, that's not the case for every STEM job. There's a lot of variety in this field, and I just want to expose you to a little bit of that variety today to dispel the rumor that to be in STEM, you have to wear a lab coat and be really good at math and physics, because that's just not true. I worked this last summer for a railroad company. I was based in their bridge department in Harrisburg, PA, but throughout the course of the summer, I got to travel to 10 different states across the Northeast and see a lot of really cool projects. Being involved in civil engineering means that you're working on infrastructure projects. This is the roads, highways, water treatment plants, everything that helps us to go about our daily lives with ease for transportation, for water treatment, and the like. So this means that your projects you're working on in civil engineering are so big that they don't fit on a desk. So as a civil engineer, if you work in field engineering, you don't have a desk in a lot of cases because you have to go to the project since that project cannot fit on your desk. So in my example from last summer, our desk was the front seat of a Chevy pickup truck. This truck is what my boss drove. It's specially equipped with high rail wheels that allow it to drive on the train tracks because we had to go see all these bridges on our territory, and the only way to see them in a lot of cases was to hop on the railroad tracks and go where we needed to go. So I just want to take you through a few photos that I have from last summer's internship experience to expose you to the idea that field civil engineering is a great opportunity to get involved with STEM if you love being outdoors and are not so attracted to that idea of sitting behind a desk for your career. So let's get started. Remember what I said about not being able to fit the projects of civil engineers on your desk? I think this big bridge is a pretty good example of that. It rises 250 feet above the gorge below. It's in the middle of a state park in New York State, and as we were walking across the catwalk, we looked down at the waterfall, and there was a rainbow right over top of the waterfall. What an awesome view that was. It was an incredible day and just one of a myriad of examples from my summer internship of bridge inspections where I got to see some really cool scenery and structures that support our transportation infrastructure. It's important with a job like this to have the physics and the math background so that you understand the connections and the steel work and what's important to look for in a bridge inspection. But in day-to-day use, you're not holding a calculator. Instead, you're out there hands-on with work gloves and safety glasses on, inspecting bridges and checking out some really awesome scenes like this. While on most days our office was a pickup truck, there were a few days where our job requirements needed us to be out in a boat on the water. So we would get the boat out of the storage garage and become captain of a little boat for the day. So this is an inlet off the Susquehanna River south of Harrisburg where I was working, and we had to inspect the underside of the bridge, and the only way to do that was to get inside the boat for the day. It was just one example of how you can be involved in a STEM career but still enjoy being outside, especially if that's something that you enjoy in your spare time is getting outdoors. There's field inspection jobs just like this where you can enjoy the great outdoors while at work. I think when a lot of people hear about STEM, they think that the tools you're limited to are microscopes and research labs and calculators. But we use some pretty big tools too. Just to show you the magnitude of some of these projects, here we're installing a 250-foot long piece of track that was replaced within just a couple short hours during a service outage, and we had 6 excavators at the same time pulling on this thing to get it into place safely and efficiently. The size of the projects you work on in field civil engineering are just astounding, and I was mesmerized watching this construction equipment all day long. As you learn about the scientific method in school, it's really easy to think that STEM is a very slow and meticulous field. And at times it is, because it's important that you go slowly to make sure you have the facts straight. But there are instances where STEM careers can lead you to some really exciting and engaging first responder type work. This is an example from over the summer where we were called out at 4 in the morning to respond to a derailment. This train fell off the track and damaged some bridges in the process, and we were called out and the wrecking crew was already there. Their most important priority was to open the line back up for business so that they could start making money again. So we, within an hour's time, had to use some forensics engineering to start determining what happened to cause the train to fall off the track and how can we prevent this in the future, all while the wrecking crews are getting ready to immediately start cleaning things up. So we had to go in quickly, analyze what happened, figure out what went wrong, and then make a list of repairs so that we could open this line back up for business. It was a really quick, fast-paced industry, and moments like this were really exciting for a young person in their career like me. When a lot of people think about infrastructure, they think about things that sit still, but I want to say that there are some exceptions to that. This is a movable bridge down in Delaware that I got to work on over the summer. The bridge sits so low to the water that to allow boats to go through, the bridge actually has to spin to allow the boats through one way and trains through the other way. During my internship, everybody I experienced in the field was so willing and eager to mentor me and teach me about everything they knew. When I was here, I got a full tour of the entire thing and got to learn a lot of really intricate stuff about how they keep this 100-plus-year-old bridge moving day in, day out, so that boats and trains never have to slow down and they're always able to make it through. Projects like this are what made it exciting for me and helped to get me up in the morning. Civil engineering is generally a field that centers around construction, and when we think construction, we think building things. But the reverse of that is also true. We got to destroy some stuff over the summer at work. This was a bridge replacement in Cleveland, and we had a lot of really interesting factors at play here. We couldn't just go in with dynamite and blow this thing up. Instead, we had to intricately take it apart because we were right next to active rail lines. We had to make sure that we didn't affect the structural integrity of the existing bridge next to it. And then on top of that, we were right next to Cleveland's airport. So the crane we had was so tall that it actually could dip into FAA-controlled airspace. So we had to make sure that that crane boom did not extend into an area where airplanes were running. It was a really interesting aspect to think about all these different factors at play. And when you have dozens of men on a job, you need to ensure that you are there to take care of things quickly and efficiently, just as we did here in Cleveland. Working on the railroad seemed pretty low-tech at times, but this is a STEM field that does still use a lot of data and technology at the end of the day. This is a photo that I took while I was on the research geometry train. This is a full-size train car that is equipped with some really precise sensors that gather some really delicate information about all of the track and the geometry associated with it. They aggregate all this data after traveling along the tracks day in, day out throughout the year, and they use this data to plan for their next year's construction. They find out what areas are wearing down, what areas need replaced sooner rather than others, and they start to track these differences to find out where their problem areas are. This is the nerve center that collects all of this information, just like you do in a research lab, except the research lab for the railroad is 22 states for the company that I was working for. It's a really exciting industry, and this high-tech implementation of tools like this showed me at the end of the day why the math and physics background is really important, even for a field engineering position like I had over the summer. In wrapping up, I just wanted to reiterate that STEM is an incredibly diverse field. Just like I found my niche over the summer in inspecting bridges in some incredible scenery, you too can take any mild interest you have in STEM and find a career that suits your tastes and interests. It was an incredible opportunity I had over the summer that I will not soon forget. It took me to a lot of really interesting places and taught me so much along the way. I really hope that you use the strong foundation that Norwin provides you to invest in your career and go wherever you may want to go. I'm not saying that this is the option for everybody, but I just want to expose you to the fact that STEM can have so many different endings in where you can work at the end of the day that you can definitely find something within the area that you're interested. So thanks so much for listening to all the talks today. Happy Science Alumni Day, and enjoy your holiday break. Get some rest, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.